Hey guys, BJ here. Today we're going over custom cyborg Spider-Man. So I kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what the OG retro cyborg Spider-Man looked like. As you can tell, he's got the one cyborg eye and the robotic left arm, but besides that, you don't see a lot of other robotics on him. So I personally love the concept of a robotic cyborg Spider-Man. I just feel like they went a little easy, and of course he's got that 90s retro look, but we wanted to go a little heavier into that cyborg. So we're going to look over here at our custom cyborg Spider-Man, and what we're going to do is we're going to work from his toes to the top of his head. And so starting at his feet, you can see his shoes there. Those shoes are from a McFarlane Destiny figure that I got and that I took apart. He was pretty much a fodder figure that I bought. And so those are where the shoes are from. And then when you look at the upper part of the boot here, these are from Hercules. And if you turn it here, you can kind of see the boot buckles there. But yeah, these were from Hercules, and so essentially all I did was pop them off the old Hercules. I ended up giving my Hercules taller legs. I gave him the legs from Odin, and so I just had these laying around. And so, looking at it, that's what the boot parts are from. And then the upper part of the calf, this part right here, these parts of the leg are from Deathlock. And so, just from the knee below, he's got parts from 3 different action figures. It's got the Destiny figure, it's got the Hercules boot top, and then the upper calf of Deathlock. And so, rather than pushing them all the way in, what I did was I just plugged it in to where it wasn't firm, but I still put a little bit of glue in there to where it didn't pop off easy, and then this way you maintain the articulation. So I'm going to hand the phone over to my son so I can kind of go through that with you guys. So, as you can see here, that joint, it still spins and twists. And so he's still got that articulation. And then if you're looking at the foot too, it's the same thing. So the articulation still works, but I just glued it in there rather than pushing it all the way down. And the reason I did that is because if you're going for a cyborg or robotic look, I think it's smart to have just some straight bars. So this is meant to look like just a straight bar going into the foot, because if you're cyborg and you don't have legs below the knee, you don't really need an ankle. And then as far as the calves, similar, I just wanted a straight bar look. And so I don't have to worry about that popping out because of the way that I drilled it in there in a bell shape. And then the fact that the plug-in part is a bell shape, so you got the female part and then the male part. And if you do it right with your Dremel tool, you don't have to worry about it popping off too easy, and you still maintain articulation. And then these are from Cyborg, like I had mentioned, or not Cyborg, sorry. These are from Deathlock. So those, this was my favorite addition to the Cyborg Spider-Man. Looking at the rest of the figure, you can tell that I gave him a black wash. And what a wash is where essentially you kind of cover the figure with black paint and you water it down a lot, and then you wipe it off, and then in all the little creaks and crevices, the paint will stick. And so that's what I did with this guy, and in spots where it didn't want to stick, I just kind of added it myself. That is a flat black paint, in case you're wondering. So moving on up, we're going to go to this arm right here. So this arm right here, I thought it would be cooler if he had a bigger bicep. So we went ahead and added the arm of, what was his name again, Alex?
Deathlock?
No, it was Bishop, I believe.
Bishop.
Yes, this is a forearm of Bishop, because I ended up doing something different with my Bishop. And so he's got that bigger, more imposing forearm. And then I did the same thing with this. I gave it that nice black wash. So anyways, same thing with this. Very basic. So I also thought it would be nice if he had some robotic parts on all 4 of his limbs. So on this arm right here, what I went ahead and did was, this is from a McFarlane Spawn action figure from the Viking Age. I dremeled a little crevice in there for the joint to go in, and then I just dremeled a hole through there, and then put the peg in. And then I made a little bell-shaped hole right there so we could straighten the arm out. And then this, I'm not sure what you call them, but the little hooks here, the kind of Batman-looking hooks, these are from an old Batman action figure where I just cut these off. So I essentially just super glued them on there. And unless I told you, you can't really tell. Because once you paint it and get it all the same color after you glued it, like I said, you can't really tell anyways. And so that's his right arm, right there. And again, he's got that full articulation. And then now, moving on up to the head, you can tell with the head, that cyborg eye, it's no longer so diminished. What I did was I took red glossy paint and I just put a drop very carefully in the middle of that eye. That way that laser eye pops out. Because when you have flat red on top of another flat red, like the color of the head, then you're going to be able, well, it's not going to be able to pop out very well. So that's why I put the gloss red on the eye. And then looking at the face, on Cyborg Spider-Man, you have stitches going from the bottom of the chin there all the way to the top of his top of the back of the head. What I did is I just took a small brush and some flat white paint, and I just went along there and barely touched the tips of the plastic that's raised up, and then that gave it that better stitch look. And then again, as you can see, we did a black wash on the head as well, though I didn't cover the whole head with black paint. I just kind of did it with a brush, because you kind of want to be careful when you're working with your head. When you're doing a black wash, you're kind of trying to dirty the figure up, but it's like the eye there, we want to make sure to keep that eye as clean as possible. But I went ahead and did the little bandana here and everything else. So another thing that you might notice about the custom Cyborg Spider-Man compared to the retro card Spider-Man is in the retro card Spider-Man, he has the yellow belt and the sash around the leg. Well, I felt with doing the robotic legs, he really didn't need that leg accent anymore. And then as far as the belt, I just don't know. I've never seen Spider-Man with a belt where I thought it looked good. So we went ahead and just took those out completely. And so that is a good look at our custom Cyborg Spider-Man. If you like it, please hit the thumbs up and send us a comment. If you have any suggestions or if you have any ideas, we'd love to hear what you think. And if you can, please subscribe. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later.